Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Entangle.
I'm entangled. This is a first level action to cast druid exclusive. Although there are some subclasses that get it, I think. Maybe? No, jump to mine. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, probably. 90-foot range,
20-foot here.
20-foot square. Problematic opponents, concentration, minute duration. Lots of stuff. Grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square starting from the point within range. For the duration, these plants turn the ground in the area into difficult terrain. A creature in the area when you cast the spell must succeed on a strength save or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. A creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save to see on its success it frees itself. That stops sounding like words, but that's okay. When the spell ends, the conjure plants wilt away. So
right, now there don't need to be plants in the area for this to happen, correct?
No, none whatsoever. You could they spawn into existence in a 20-foot square, starting from a point within range.
Ooh, good question here. All right, this lasts up to a minute.
Yep.
Can your horse graze on them?
I see no reasons why not.
All right.
They're magical plants, but nothing says that they can't be consumed. It doesn't say, like, you could harvest them. They wilt, so they're still there. Like, you could just have a bunch of wilted entangle, and that's a lot of matters.
I think I'm going to rule that once the horse has eaten them, like, it's a separate thing. They are providing nutrition that doesn't go away when the spell ends.
No, I mean, the plants don't go away when the spell ends either. They just wilt.
Oh, all right, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. They're there for the forever now. They just don't create the difficult terrain if they will. They're just that effect ends on the spell ends, obviously. Right. Important notes: the only restraint that happens is on cast. Everything after that is just difficult terrain. So it's one giant AoE saber die, the saber die being a restrained condition. And then beyond that is a 20-foot difficult terrain. I think for a first level spell, as a early tier druid, this can be a really powerful effect, especially if it's got a 90-foot range, great little range. So you can go, okay, we're engaging on some enemies. Most of us are range. I'm going to entangle them. A couple of them are going to fail. A couple of the enemies are, and we're going to throw shots at them. And that's going to be the bulk of what the text is that restrain instantaneous effect. And that's pretty good. The difficult terrain doesn't often matter like that much. It might force something else, a couple things to dash maybe, but for the most part you really I think care about the restraint condition first and foremost, and then you're like, okay, we restrained a couple things, they divvied up, they didn't really come to us, we just shot at them and walked backwards or whatever, and then the encounter is sort of won by manner of this first level spell. That's pretty novel. I like that.
Okay, so they make a strength saving throw to be restrained until the spell ends. Now the next line, a creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. On a success, it frees itself. Is that once, or can they do that every round?
Every single round.
All right, well.
It just always takes an action. They have action surge, they give them twice in a round. You spend an action to try and break free. Notably, the restraint condition for viewers at home, its speed is 0, cannot benefit from bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against it have advantage, and its attack rolls have disadvantage, and it has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So if you then have, like, a wizard that decides to go over and start laying down fireballs, they'll have a bad time. They'll already have a bad time because they're going to be a wizard laying down fireballs, but, that's just a thing to consider.
Well, I was thinking more like somebody with a duration area of effect spell.
Oh, sure. Like layered on top of this, like a wall of fire or something, layered on top of the cloud of daggers. Yeah, seems decent.
Because, I mean, a fireball, is, if you can see them, you can hit them.
Yeah, it's true. The other thing to consider is things, while restrained, still can attack you. They'll just do it badly. So there will be some encounters where you will still take damage. You'll still take some shots from, like, goblins that you entangle or whatever. But it's still probably worth it. Imposing the disadvantage is pretty reasonable. And, like, if they were aggressors and trying to get to you anyway, that's a really good place to be. Is now they're taking bad, like, pot shots at you and trying not to die. And that seems excellent.
Yeah, not everything has ranged options. So
yeah, a lot of things don't, especially in the low tiers. Like if you're doing dire wolf fights as like your capstone, this is going to be excellent for you. Panthers.
I mean, you will find uses for this in higher tiers, and it's like super cheap then.
Yeah, the concentration gets a little bit iffy in the upper tiers, right? Like as you're going higher and higher level, the need for concentration, like it starts getting contested by better stuff. You start seeing like, oh, I'd much rather have a 5th level spell being concentrated on for a long duration than my entangle. But if your concentration goes down, you're like, ah, crap, throw down an entangle. That'll feel pretty good still.
We'll talk about that whenever this comes up. And concentration doesn't always last forever. And this isn't one where like, all right, it's got concentration of a minute, but most things are going to be able to make the save eventually. And it's not that huge an area. So like, if you got your concentration on something else and you lose it, all right, you got a first level backup spell to do something with for a little bit, and you're not super worried about maintaining concentration on that for very long.
Yeah, I really think if you get like a round out of the restraints, you're just like, that was super worth it. You don't need much out of this for it to be excellent. Honestly, this is, I think, one of the better Druid first level spells for that reason. It's a really efficient, giant area of effect. 20 feet, like 4 squares is a lot of squares. And that, because it's a 20-foot cube, right? Right? 20-foot square. Yeah.
20-foot square.
You get just normally hit 2-3 things with this pretty consistently. And whenever you do that, it can be debilitating. Some encounters just can't recover from that. 20-foot square, in my brain, I'm struggling to see, is it 20 feet in total, or is it 20 by 20?
No, 20 by 20.
Okay, so it's more than double that. It's quadruple that. So yeah, very large. Tons of creatures can get hit by this, conceivably. I mean,
that's not super large. Are you thinking 20-foot radius?
I'm thinking 4 by 4, so it's 16 squares.
Right, 16 squares.
Huge.
Not huge. I mean, it's big. It's big enough for a first level spell.
It's a large area of the map. Will face the wrath of the Entangle. And commenters, let us know if either of us are wrong. I'm pretty sure Bob's right in that it is the 20-foot sides. But if it is like a 20-foot, that doesn't make any sense for it to be 20 feet worth of cube. Yeah, it has to be the big one. Anyway,
20 square feet. That's tiny.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it would be, but that doesn't seem like it could possibly be right. So consult the spellcasting rules, double check. This should actually reference, like, this is how infrequently I see this actually get cast. Just because whenever a lot of the games I play start at 3rd level, and if I ever have druids, they're either doing the Circle of the Moon thing or they've got Summon Beast, and both of those just make the spell go, oh, I don't want this. I can just throw it away. I've got other things to be doing in my actions, other things to be doing in combat. I don't really engage that much with Entangle personally. In the mid to upper tiers, it's not something that I tend to see a lot of, and also Druid's not a very popular class. For what that's also worth. As it is, though,
Druids are cool.
Druids are cool. They're unbelievably complicated.
Yeah.
They are, like, without a doubt, the highest barrier to entry on any class is Druid, just because Wild Shape is such a robust feature. Like, it and full casting is a gigantic can of worms to like start to try to engage with, especially whenever their core big powerful stuff is summoning magic. So it's another giant pillar of like, you need multiple pages of multiple stat blocks. You'd have your own monster manual. Basically, you need a whole stack of papers of the things that you want to be doing as a regular time, just like character. As a fighter, you bring a little post-it note, and that's got everything you need on it. So, like, the difference is pretty stacked, which is the reason I don't think Druid gets played that much. But if you want a challenging and engaging time, if you want a robust option, Druid's great, and Entangle is a big part of that in the early game. So, yeah, bread and butter Druid stuff.
Yeah, I think we got it covered pretty well. You got a rating?
I think it's a 4. I think Entangle is really, really good. Multiple creatures save or die restraint is just going to gut some early tier encounters, and even some late tier encounters, like you suggested. You'll be like, crap, I don't have my summon up right now. I don't really need it. Entangle, let's bail. Or Entangle, lay into them, right? You get a few rounds of extra bonuses. Some of them are going to pass, some of them aren't, and that's going to be fine. You're going to get a lot of good use out of this little spell, I think.
I agree. 4 sounds about right. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, but it's really good.
It's very solid.
4 stars. All right, that was Entangle. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think of Entangle down in the comments below. Also like and subscribe and all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.